15-ish individual participants in the group stage, and we're off.
Indeed we are, and hi. So since this is Uncle Ashore, we will be seeing a sword located at Uncle, and that's absolute garbage in our first chest today.
And I love that compass of Tower of Hera.
Does literally nothing.
And for those of you who have not seen Key Sanity before, all of the keys and maps and compasses are all over the world to be found by our runners. The compasses will unlock a checklist of item locations you have. Finding a map will light up on the map whether they are a pendant or a crystal, which one they are. There's our sword. And the keys are out there to be found for all the dungeons. They are not specific to their dungeon anymore. There's just a lot of things we have to find.
And some keys are, well, there's the first ice rod. Some keys are more important than others, like the small key in Spawn Palace to access anything, the 2 in Castle Tower for Aga 1, because you need to go and do Aga 1, and of course that dreaded big key for Ganon's Tower.
Absolutely. It's so nice to find the actual ice rod first, as we will definitely be hunting for more hypothetical ice rods.
Indeed, since this is all dungeons, they need to beat all dungeons, so the ice rod is required. At this point, it's just a standard escape sequence that we've seen a lot of times before, killing guards, hoping to get rupees and bombs, before heading likely an early trip to Kakariko.
Seems like always usually the best play for me, and oh, look at that, we have an early flute.
So from my own experience of watching this version of the logic, early flute seems common, early myth seems common. The flute is really gonna help out on a lot of these early routing choices.
Oh yeah, but with the early gloves and mitts, it gives you access to dark, with the moon pearl, and it gives you access to Dark World too, even more chests to hide keys in.
Oh yeah, I've always found that a bit interesting about the Zelda series, that the chests are not locked, instead the key is inside of them.
Keys are for the doors and not the chests, and we have a small key for the Dark Room of Escape.
Well, need to get that key in order to actually do the escape.
Suppose you're right.
Key sanity is weird.
Oh, when you throw in the wrinkle of standard mode, it has to have that key in order to complete the standard mode.
So, Kohrek tried to freeze the guard, likely wanted to freeze it, and he used that guard to throw it on the ball and chain guard as a weapon.
That would be
but sadly that didn't work.
Amazing. And look at that, flippers!
This is a pretty stacked escape. Ice Rod, Flute, Flippers?
It definitely wants us to be able to get all around the world as soon as we get out of this escape sequence.
Well, we do have everything over in the Sora area now in Logic, but likely we'll be waiting for the 500 rupees before they make the trip there.
Absolutely, to see what the King of Scams doesn't have quite as much of a punch this time, as he could be holding an important key.
Yeah, since you're looking for more items, it's more likely that Sora will have something that isn't 20 rupees.
It may just be the compass for Ice Palace.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. As our players just heading back here, heading into the sewer area. This is Group Moldorm that you're watching right now, Kohrek in our left here. Seeded number 12, highest seeded in the group, currently sitting 4-0 in the group. Dustsen is currently in last at 0-2, but he's also the player that has played the least number of games in this group so far.
Yep, and each racer, I believe, has 15 races to play, 3 against each of their components within their individual group. So there's still a lot for him to head to improve on his mark.
That is absolutely correct, as we'll now be heading into the sewers, and Kohrek has managed to pick up 4 bombs. Dustsen will still hope that he can find some along the way.
Hopefully those ropes will be kind to him today.
Can only hope.
As you notice, he leaves one behind.
Well, there's his 4 bombs, so he's gonna be happy with that.
Excellent. And our dark chest has $5.
Well, it's better than 1. They need to get up to that bottle merchant at 100. You can reliably get 50 rupees on the way there, but that's still an additional 39 or 44 rupees that they need to find.
Usually Kakariko has the money, but there's no guarantees. Now, the true final boss of Escape, the Key Rat, which is nothing because we have the Fighter's Sword.
It's very straightforward and easy to kill.
I'm always a fan of the Cane of Samaria given to you by Uncle.
Yeah, you just put forward a block and you push it into the rat, and then the rat just magically dies.
There's $50, a piece of heart, and $20.
Well,
Almost
all
to
the
the bottle
rupees.
bender.
Yeah, they will have enough with the 30 from Blind's Basement and the additional 20 from the well, so they are fully prepared for everything that Kakariko can throw at them. Would obviously prefer to have something like a bottle for sick kid, you know.
Absolutely. And just over 6 minutes, the pretty much average for an escape sequence for runners of this caliber.
Well, wait, why do we have both rods?
Because clearly it's setting us up for some early Trinex shenanigans.
Oh, yeah. That's so much fun.
Still gonna find that cane and something to get us onto the east side of Death Mountain, but we're on our way.
And Kohrek opting to skip checking the lumberjack. Since you have to do Aga 1 at some point, you may not need to check the lumberjack this early on, since you may just end up getting that item later anyway.
But it could also be hiding an important key, which they wouldn't know without reading the text box that's provided when you pick up a key, but if it's a big key, you may lean toward an earlier play than most.
That is indeed true. Lots of rupees here in their natural habitat in the forest, and I did not see that.
I cannot begin to have seen that.
Nope. I guess we just have to wait then. And now this trip into Kakariko, they got all the rupees, they got the bombs, they can buy more bombs. And we'll be making the checks into the library following that. Maybe hoping to get the boost along the way, but this is randomizer, so, you know, the boosts are gonna be like 90 minutes in.
Absolutely. As we head into Blind's house to see what the King of Thieves was holding on to in the light world.
A very convenient bottle.
And a map. So now we will know what Misery Mire is when we can see the Dark World.
It's still that they need to do all dungeons, so they won't really care that much about where the pendants and crystals are.
It is at least nice to know when Ganon's Tower is going to open up to you, or when the pedestal starts to look like it's in logic.
And the pedestal, the green pendant, the 5-6 crystals for the pyramid fairy. Something that we have seen in these old onion matches is that some players just don't check the map, or they may just check it extremely late. But here in Key Sanity, where you need the map in the first place to check the map to see what it is, we may just end up not seeing any map checks at all.
That is true.
Oh, there's the Swamp Palace small key. That's great.
And the compass for the Dark Palace. Best item in the game.
It does literally nothing.
Those are the best items. As we get
Indeed they are.
as we get 20% cash back.
Of course, gonna activate his flute. We did also see the power gloves down in the well, so they got one of those two out of the way, and their first main piece to enter the Dark World.
And the goose is loose.
Good, I need to catch it and eat it. Unless Kohrek is out of bombs, he has to go and buy new ones, unless he conveniently gets 3 in here, or maybe even 10.
Except that this time, Rando give it.
Well, they most likely are going to need all of these keys that they're picking up. So Kohrek is checking these locations they are hoping to find bombs to avoid having to buy.
Absolutely. Still need to, and especially with that power glove and the flippers, the king of scams is in logic. And as we discussed earlier, keys are life.
They are missing about 100 rupees from that Sora. They're gonna lose 50 here from buying bombs. They will need a little bit more, but they can easily get to Sora since they have the flute to 8.
Absolutely.
They could also make an early Death Mountain play here, but I think they're just gonna flute to the pond.
As we take a look at the library to see what the boots may be hiding behind. And we have some blueberries.
And those bombs are in the wrong spot. So Kohrek is just gonna go ahead and do the race game. Just easily flute away from this if it's nothing of value.
And with the added value of key sanity, this is a higher percentage play than in most races.
Indeed it is.
And he'll be floating away.
All these bombs are just too late. So time for the pond, and we'll likely be making trip to Mini Moldorm Cave following this.
And there's
the
the
desert.
Gotta love that.
They have to make the trip there at some point. So the thing with Key Sanity is that since you are looking for so many items, you tend to go into dungeons multiple times because you don't know where the next thing is. So this a small key for Palace of Darkness, but you may just have to end up going there like 3 times because the keys just don't align, and you go in with one key, you find something, you leave, and then you find another key somewhere else, and then you go back in, find another item, and yada yada yada.
Absolutely, those keys can be hiding anywhere, and that means double, triple, quadruple dips of some places. It could be interesting.
Let's hope not.
Or hope so, if you're chat.
Please don't encourage the chat. They do a perfectly fine job themselves. We could see an earlier play here into Eastern Palace.
Oh, there's our boots. And our Titan mitts.
Well, I guess the good old Hyplia cave is back in action. It's been too long.
Absolutely, and Kohrek decided to save and quit instead of continuing on toward the Ice Rod Cave, but with the flute, that's an easy recheck later on.
Yeah, you do the save and quit so you can get back to Sanctuary, since you can't flute to the Sanctuary to check the bonk rocks.
Provided the guards let you get there.
You see Dustsen head over here to the water areas, see a piece of heart on the island.
And the Bonkrocks is holding a key for Misery Meyer.
Well, Meyer is pretty weird with the small keys since there are more than you need. So Kohrek checking Lumberjack here may decide to make the trip up to Death Mountain after this. Or, well, Dustsen finds the lamp, so the lamp is in logic, so Eastern may be a little bit more possible here.
That was a big 20 at Lumberjack.
Well, we can disregard that then. So you can get out to Death Mountain in both ways here, using either the gloves with the lamp or just flute up. They will likely flute up.
Saves quite a bit of time going to rescue that old man from the backside as it is from the front.
Conveniently enough.
And we find...
Do continue.
Yeah. They find simultaneous pieces of heart in the King's Tomb and Ice Rod Cave.
So it looks like Kohrek here is preferring to check the locations where he has items that have unlocked these locations, which is why he's checking these boots locations, the King's Tomb, now doing his hula hand to set up rupees to go ahead and go to Sora.
It's always interesting to see those setups after you pick up the flippers.
It's very well planned to not check both bonk locations into Lumberjack, just check one, check Lumberjack, save and quit, then do King's Tomb into Holy Hand.
And now it looks like he's going to go down to the South Shore and find his lamp.
Dustsen's gonna rescue the old man and get some spare money.
A nice tip for a good deed done.
I do wonder how that old man manages to stay alive up on Death Mountain.
Well, he's hiding in that cave, obviously.
Yeah, but how does he get food? I don't think those cabbages are eatable.
Perhaps he's been living on Keys this entire time?
Forget I said anything. So Dustsen first opting to check here sees Ether, instead of just going around to get the hint guaranteed.
It seems to be becoming more of a 50-50 whether these runners are just straight up diving for that hint tilet item or checking it. It's interesting to see the evolving metagame of the hint tiles as they've come out since version 30's launch.
Well, I feel like 90-95% of the time a unique item is in the castle. They just don't do anything.
I think those will become more valuable as they move on in further versions of the hint tiles, try to prevent redundancies and make the hints maybe mode specific in the future. As right now, all the hints are designed in such a way that they can work for every mode. So the hammer, an item behind the hammer, doesn't necessarily mean it can be in Turtle Rock.
Indeed, but here in Key Sanity, there is that one added hint for the Ganas Tower Big Key.
And we have a bottle filled from Kohrek to get a ferry.
Not the worst. Of course, gonna pay a visit to Sora. Dustsen is now clearing up these bonk spots.
That looked like the arrow of destiny on the ledge.
You mean the garbage arrow?
Interesting that there's only one single arrow.
Because it's just one arrow, someone just left it there and everyone thinks it's unique. Like an empty bottle?
That's premium glass, handmade craftsmanship.
You know, it's better than 20 rupees.
Indeed.
Dustsen now heading on over to Sahassola, likely making the trip into Eastern after this. I think we're running out of locations here apart from this and Agena.
Absolutely. So what is Sahassola? And the green pendant is Misery Mire.
And Dustsen got 2 small keys there already. We got a medallion, and we also got silver arrows. That doesn't really point towards it, but do have some things that does point towards early Mire.
Absolutely, and silver arrows, a nice find. All we need is a bow to put them in.
And the silver arrows are gonna make a lot of these boss fights significantly easier.
Absolutely.
And meanwhile, we're still looking for this Dark World access, and I don't know about you, but this looks like another late Hammer Seed.
Or perhaps the early Aga 1 play may be required. Who knows? Still gotta find that Moon Pearl.
They also need either the cape or another sword to get through Aga 1.
Still have a few more locations to check here in Eastern. And looks like we're getting that Agita check from Kohrek.
Well, that's one item in Eastern, so we are running low.
We can get to everything aside from the big chest and the back of the dungeon. And that's 20 rupees from Agita.
So it's gotta be Eastern. Oh, there's only one item left in Eastern.
Starting to look sparing.
I mean, what other places can they go at this point?
We've already been through Kakariko. We've checked Death Mountain. Checked Zora, all the flippers, and Boots Lock locations. Eastern seems to be about all that's left, with only one item left to find.
Well, what item can it be? Oh,
The hook shot. Looks like
that's
we're...
Death Mountain.
Yep.
Oh, and the Tower of Hera basement has a map. That's very valuable.
Good to know that these runners will unfortunately not get their coffee break.
And as I continue being confused over the fact that this is Key Sanity, of course there's one more item in here.
Oh, that's right.
This is only my second Key Sanity I'm commentating, and the first one was an entrance cross-world Key Sanity. Like, come on, give me a break.
I'm already confused with the keys. If you'd have thrown an entrance randomizer in here, I think my brain would have exploded.
Yeah, I know that feel.
Good to know that we already know there's unique items in the castle.
Yeah, is it maybe the flippers?
And finally, 10 sticks at the end of Eastern. Off to East Death Mountain we go.
Yeah, it's still a good amount of items that we're looking for here. And this is required double dip into Eastern.
One of many required double dips we're likely to see as Kohrek heads towards Eastern to find his hookshot, and Dustin heads to the Eastern Death Mountain to see where we get to go next after this.
Well, they're still looking for something that will give them Darkworld access. There's a lot of it that it can be. Hammer, cape, master sword, of course, with the Moon Pearl edition. Or the game could just decide that, hey, I'm gonna give you the bow.
Key for Thieves Town, and some literacy. Looks like we get to head to Desert.
And Desert is fully clearable because they have the big key. They can't get the two items on the right side because they need a small key for that, but that's their first dungeon they can complete.
And 20 rupees, a heart piece, 300 rupees, some blueberries, and a map. Paradox Cave, not having much aside from look.
And without Mirror Hammer, they can check the Ether Tablet, so at this point, Desert it is, but there's a little bit more to do here.
And the Dead Rock, of course, not playing nice. I think if I had to wager, I think they may be the least favorite enemy in the game.
I wouldn't be surprised if we were to make a pool and everyone would say, yeah, it's the Dead Rocks. So I actually expected to see to be them running around looking for keys, but right now they're actually looking for items so that they can get into the dungeons and do stuff.
Yeah, without some kind of access to the Dark World, we don't really have much left open as far as places we can complete. Disregarding any key logic.
Well, there are a few items over in Desert, so there is that after Spiral Cave. We're going Desert.
Kohrek finding his 10 sticks and noping out of Eastern.
I don't know why Dustsen decided to start in Sanctuary, because he did get the full heart refill, but he could have started up in Death Mountain and gotten that as well. Maybe some just overthinking a decision there, perhaps.
Maybe. Alright, as we have our turtle read a book and we head into Desert Palace, what will we find to get us going somewhere? So far, this has turned pretty linear. So let's open this up some.
Okay, Sanity does tend to make itself quite linear, but I just want to see the Moon Pearl at this point. Well, starting off with nothing.
Maybe the torch has something for us.
Well, at least there's a hint in here. Well, there's the Moon Pearl.
Ask and ye shall receive. And, oh good.
Yeah, don't need to bother about Mimic Cave. Actually useful hint.
Once in a while, they are out there. I think my favorite all-time hint is some caches in Ganon's Tower.
That's just... Why? Why?
There was a seed I commented on last night where we actually had 2 of those hints.
I'm shaking my head at this point. You can't see it, but I am shaking my head.
And we have another pod big key.
And a small key.
Small key.
There's so many keys. It's key sanity after all.
Can't keep track. It's early.
It's past lunch.
Maybe for you.
Yeah, it's for me.
I haven't even had second breakfast yet.
Oh, I know that feel. Well, there's a little bit of an issue here with the myths into the Darkfell, and that is that if you decide to not go over and check Palace of Darkness or Pyramid or Catfish, and it ends up that you need to go there, that's a long way you have to walk. Thankfully, you do have boots.
Takes a little bit of the edge off that really long jaunt we'd have to take over until we find that hammer.
And that's why players tend to prefer to get the hammer for their Darkfell access, and as the seeds have developed more and more, the meta has developed more and more, it's become a greater preference to start over in Hype Cave, even if Hype Cave ends up having nothing.
And we have Dustsen breaking out the fire rod to make quick work of Lamulus. One of those shots doesn't quite connect. Fires one off in anger.
Oh, damn. Not sure if that was an angriest to play misclick, but regardless of what, that's gonna make this fight somewhat longer.
But quick work, we get us a heart container. And our first crystal at 28 minutes.
And with that, the Darkfell access. The Darkfell is open to him with the myths and the Moon Pearl combination. There is no hammer, and there is no mirror, though, at this point.
Dark World is their oyster. It's just a lot of long boot dashing across the world.
I wouldn't be surprised if Dustsen first gonna check Gina here, but then decides to start with Meyer Shed.
It's just a quick flute away across the desert. Keep him burning his feet too much, and looks like Kohrek is going for that play.
Yeah, he's trying to find the hammer, I imagine, so that they can make a different visit in their first Darkfell trip.
And that
goes for Meyer.
So we will need to find another coin to get us into Misery Mire. Gullwood's key, not the most useful. And a heart.
Yeah, no mirror, so they can't keep on going there to check a board, and that could be an issue coming back later.
And Dustsen going to check his Meyer Shed. Kohrek.
Kohrek, Dark Death Mountain here.
Interesting choice.
Just gonna find out the other medallion here for Turtle Rock, and does have the hookshot for the hookshot cave in addition to Super Bunny Cave.
I suppose with the item density, and since we can't just have a bunch of locations available in Thieves Town without the big key, it's like the most item dense play I can think of at the moment.
Yeah, it just seems like they want to find some additional items before making that Kakariko portal into Village of Outcast Skullwoods.
Kohrek getting a little trolled by that block clip. Has to go the long way around.
Yeah, that clip is a bit tricky.
Castle Tower Key, that's one of the two other ice rods.
Indeed, and it's the only key you would need to guarantee the second chest, but of course they can't get there in the first place at this point.
I'm still looking for the cape or another sword. That's
that
the
was...
ether coin.
Yeah, that was ether, so we do have that for Turtle Rock.
Still looking for the cane of Samaria before we get really deep in there, unless we really want that hint tile.
Well, you're gonna have the hammer in order to get in there in the first place.
Indeed. TR and Pocky, well, speak of the devil.
Yeah, that's a thing that tends to happen to me. Well, that hammer was exactly what he was looking for up here.
Absolutely, I shall call you the summoner.
No, I miss a witch. So, we're starting off here in Hype Cave, the preferred play for what seems to be most people right now when they get into the Dark World.
Absolutely, and Kohrek heading down toward the Hype Cave.
It's gonna get the 5 items, and with the MIPS can then route back to Village of Outcast after this. No bow, I don't really think Shadows of Darkness is a play at this point. Also with only 2 small keys.
Alright, so how will we rate today's Hype Cave? 20 rupees. A heart piece. Blueberries. A heart piece. And just a lot of little love.
That seems about standard. If you want the real hype for Hype Cave, you should watch Inverted. We're gonna find out the 5-6 here, and that's Eastern and Turtle Rock. That's an interesting combination.
Interesting indeed. Done most of Eastern, still looking for the bow and the big key for both of those dungeons.
Yeah, they're missing a lot to get that bomb. I would not be surprised if the pyramid has nothing for us today.
And it looks like Dustin is heading up for an early pedestal check.
Well, this is Old Onions, and we have seen pedestal Old Onion seeds in this tournament.
Alright, and get ready. That's Hylian, I can't read that. Alright. 10 arrows.
That is so worth it.
I think the 10 arrow drop has become the new big 20 as far as loathsome finds.
You know, I'm exceptionally hyped already for Kohrek to blind pull 10 arrows from the pedestal.
Could definitely see it happening.
Meanwhile, this dig is something.
For a heart piece that he's just gonna leave rot on the ground.
He's sitting on 9 containers at this point, so even with green mail feels relatively safe.
Absolutely, it looks like we may just see a high 5 here. Nope, Dustin is going up to Skull Woods.
So this is some really clever routing here by Kohrek. since he doesn't have the mirror, he's gonna deliver the smith and then head into the dark world via Kakariko following that to do all the visits. And then he can end that by picking up the purple chest.
And it's pretty good routing.
And this is all because smith and purple chest is so annoying to deal with if you don't have mirror. And look, there's a big key for Turtle Rock.
Alright, we're one more piece of the puzzle of that long Turtle Rock play.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that point towards this Turtle Rock, but we're still missing a couple of items for that.
We find some sticks.
Now, of course, Dustsen was not up on Dark Death Mountain, so he does not have the hammer at this point.
And it appears that Kohrek lost his smith, or did he turn it in and I not see it?
He turned it in.
Okay.
And Kohrek also starting off here with the Skull Woods.
That's a minor small key for Dustin and an interesting pit skip I've not seen before.
And Skull Woods is one of those dungeons where you don't need a big key, you just need a fire rod to get to the back.
Seems like a sound play as we see Kohrek heading his way into Skullwoods as well.
Still looking for many items, so gonna check everything.
To play everybody's favorite game, Dodge the Gibdos.
Unfortunately, no boomerang for the easy stun. Or apparently Dustsen does have the hammer. I'm mistaken.
Take the Death Warp out.
I mean, if it's faster to get out by dying, then you take the death.
Cross and we'll head back toward Mothula.
So Fighter Sword Hammer Mothula is not the nicest of fights.
Well, they do have the fire rod, as they need, which helps a little bit, but as we all know, when Mothula comes in contact with spikes, all the damage is negated because this is a well-coded game.
I mean, this is a product of its time. It was very well coded for its time, but it's been some 25 years.
And there is the key of Evil's Bane, easily found in Skull Woods. That's one less ice rod we need to find.
Some of these items are just in extremely convenient locations. I'm very surprised.
I mean, hard to find that other castle tower key. Where could we find that, you think?
I mean, they don't even have AGA 1 access yet. That's the weird thing. They have the big key for Ganon's tower, but they can't get to AGA 1. Well, Kohrek's gonna enter this fight quite low.
Goes for the quick heart refill and doesn't get anything. Gets immediately hit for it. And looks like we're going for hammer strats.
He does have that fairy that he picked up from the Waterfall of Wishing.
Pretty clean so far, dodging all those spike traps.
This is a very good fight and well executed. Now it's time for Dustsen, who is opting for the sword.
And fire rod, and we have the red pendant.
Well, that's gonna be very useful if you want those 10 arrows.
Hey, you may just need that desperation refill before you go face the Armos Knights.
Dustsen is struggling a little bit with this fight. Gonna pull up the blue potion.
And we have Kohrek going to pick up his GT big key. Dustsen getting his red pendant. So where do we go next?
Kohrek saved and quit. But where is he fluting? Okay, so I imagine this is faster to get back to Village of Outcast than going all the way through Skullwoods.
I would definitely have to agree with that one.
But if he didn't have the flute, it may just have been better to walk.
Yeah, that flute kind of skews how routing works.
These are these very small timing things that I don't know fully.
I'm sure there's someone out there that's out there meticulously timing everything. Chest game giving us $50 and the small key for desert.
That's 2 items over there. But unless they can properly route that in with Meyer or Checkerboard, I can't see them going there soon.
Definitely. Well, I don't think we'll be seeing that quite yet as we head into Thieves Town for Kohrek and find everyone's favorite compass.
And 20 rupees on Bumper Cave, so no cape needed for that.
If this keeps up, this might just be Compass Town.
I mean, Thief, Blind needs to know where all the goods is.
How does he read the compass? Blind.
You see, Blind is also like a spooky ghost, so he's like dead or something.
Makes sense.
So by using weird anime logic, we don't need to explain it.
Perfect. That is 3 compasses and the Bombos medallion in Thieves Town. Kohrek forgets he has the ferry.
Whoops. So did pick up the bombos. The bombos is required for Mr. Meyer, so we get both medallions. So they can get into Meyer. They just don't have the big key, and they don't have Cane of Samaria.
My memory serves me correct. That gives them access to every chest except for, or every location except for the boss.
And the big chest.
Yes.
I mean, we cannot take the big chest for granted. I wonder if Kohrk's just gonna follow this up with the purple chest following this.
Simultaneous compass pulls.
I think we have all the compasses soon.
Gotta be getting up there. We'll get us some nice hammer peg action as well. Always satisfying dashing through and hearing all those bonks.
We are missing many small keys. We're missing a ton of big keys as well, as they've only found 3. And that's a shield, and that's not important.
No, Kohrek decided to just leave that plastic toy behind.
And the chest is picked up. Also still looking for the final pendant, but we know Pedestal is dead. Kohrek doesn't. I can't really imagine that he has that on a high priority though.
No, definitely not, as he's cleared out most of the things in that area.
And by Kohrek delaying the Eastern earlier, I'm not so sure he's gonna want to make the play into Meyer, since he may not be as confident wanting to double dip dungeons.
And we have a Turtle Rock key inside Gary's lunchbox.
Okay, can we just get the cane already so they can go and do Turtle Rock?
Everything's coming up Turtle Rock except for the items we need for it is.
And Kohrek is gonna make that check back to Desert to get the 2 items here. Dustsen is just gonna do this super long digging sequence for a piece of heart.
We dig and dig, dig and we dig.
So that's the 4th Palace of Darkness key.
Well, if you know your hammer yump, I think that's enough keys to clear most of it. Though needing it, at this point, we would need a bottle to potion glitch our way into the right side.
That is indeed the case. And that may just be where they will be heading soon enough, but the Dustsen has picked up the frog. So he's likely gonna go ahead and deliver that then. Kohrek didn't actually clear Lanmolas earlier, so...
Yeah, I thought he did.
Yeah, it seems a bit weird, but since he was there and picked up the Moon Pearl earlier. I'm not so sure why he skipped out on that.
Interesting.
Most certainly is. Well, he's gonna go back in here and get himself the crystal.
Not much else.
And Dustsen is gonna show this frog how to not handle loot.
Looks like Illis bringing up a good point in chat. He didn't really have magic when he came back here for the first time, so the fighter sword fight is a lot slower than using the fire rod.
That is definitely a good point. I still can't help but wonder if it may still have been faster.
It's an impressive getting a couple of hammer hits on that Lanmolas as he picks up his crystal.
So, what is the next destination then?
And it's Screaming Turtle Rock, but we still don't have that cane. We have some map smiths.
And they don't have the mirror for Swamp. I mean, they could go Tower of Hera, but that's a long way to walk. They don't have any keys, and that's just for 2 items.
Oh, there is Ice Palace.
With no keys?
Can we get anywhere in Ice Palace without it? Like the first chest, even?
You should be able to get a little bit. I do think Pod is more likely at this point.
True.
And you do also have the pyramid, you have catfish.
Some of those annoying light roll or overroll locations off the board.
And this tends to happen when it comes to key sanity. Like, there's no dungeon you can full clear, but you're still forced to go into one of them, so which one do you pick?
The key on the pyramid. And it's a GT key.
And they got the keys they need for Ganon's tower then. Assuming there isn't anything else that they're looking for in there. So Dustsen is gonna be somewhat disappointed with Sora. I mean, an empty bottle is not the worst, but you know.
Well, he is close. He could pick up a potion on his way back down and head over to Pod so he can glitch his way into the right side.
That does seem to be the main call at this point. It has to be Pod or Meyer, I imagine, that they're gonna go to, because ice is ice and Tower of Hera is such a long way to walk.
And it looks like he's gonna head down and do that. I was curious just to see if that would actually be faster to save and quit and flute, or to do the walk.
Yeah, these are situations that you may not be 100% certain.
It looks like he's changed his mind about halfway down.
Gonna buy a potion. Oh, this could just be the setup for a Palace of Darkness. Or not.
I think he's thinking ice.
You know, we have Kohrek going pod and dustsen going ice. This could be a crucial point in this game.
And it comes down to which non-completable dungeon do you want to dive?
The Cane of Samaria requires hammer.
That puts it in a few interesting locations, which could be this dungeon.
Yeah, I mean... Spy Cave?
By cave, it could be on Helmasaur King, which we can't get to yet. Most of Swamp Palace.
I mean, that's an extremely interesting hint.
Oh yes, and the Thieves' Town Big Chest.
On the bow is in pod? What?
Oh, no more need for those potions they purchased.
That's just such a... Well, you know what they say, if it isn't key sanity. If there is no small key in the first chest, it's bow locked. Well, this is that one situation that if this wasn't key sanity, it still wouldn't be bow locked even if it wasn't a small key.
So in this case, the bow itself is the key.
Yes, it's another key. The
hammer
hammer's in hookshot K, we knew that already.
No, they can't all be good. It's an interesting joke hint I've not seen before.
The yoke hints are sometimes almost as valuable as the regular key hints, but in this one, where that cane is very interesting. Now, Kohrek still doesn't have the big key, so he can't full clear pod. And he doesn't have the big key for Eastern either, so he can't just go there and kill Helmasaur. So this bow doesn't actually do much. Except for that powder.
You know, let's go say hello to our friend the Magic Bat later on.
So this bow is just a fetch for another fetch.
Blue mail always feels good.
You're never gonna say no to a free mail upgrade. Dustsen is continuing here in ice.
We have a big key for Swamp Palace, which we still cannot access without finding that mirror.
That's a hammer lock location, but yeah, the mirror is needed for that.
Speaking of which...
I'm a witch.
There was someone in chat who earlier called you the clairvoyant. It's starting to look like that's more and more the case.
I mean, this just keeps on happening to me. Oh, and the big key for ice.
Oh, that hurts Dustsen a bit.
Oh, pod was the right play, but maybe that hint could swing things. So, do you go swamp? Or do you check the bat first? Well, there's a big key in ice, and it's the pod big key.
Alright, so these two are... God.
The pod and ice, you need to double dip both. It's just a matter of which order you do it.
Which one do you want to double dip first?
I don't know. Oh, there's some money in pod. Oh, that's a great hint.
Hey, we did see that. And there's the Thieves Town big key in the dark maze.
Oh man, this pod was so good.
A lot of interesting places to go.
Despite that hint, I still think dustsen is gonna go pod after this.
I would have to think so after finding the big key.
Kohrk's gonna start off with the magic bat.
Not one of our hammerlocked locations.
A skeleton was a bit spookier than usual.
And today, the magic bat is cursing us with... love! The worst curse of all.
The worst curse? What? You don't like love? Love is awful?
Tends to hurt, tends to hurt.
Of course, Ice Palace was worth it for the net.
Only the best item in the game.
So, as we're reaching 1 hour here, they still can't access the first chest in Castle Tower.
It's interesting to see how these things relate. I hope we've gone so far without finding a sword. Since our assured sword from our friend the uncle.
And no cape, so... You know... I don't know, this is a weird seed, but we're going back into Thieves Town now.
Gain the big key so that opens up the boss and a few other item locations that are a pretty quick and easy check.
Yeah, everything is clearable at this point.
I'd imagine seeing Kohrek probably head toward ice next.
And it's gonna be a rough cold stair fight for dustsen.
Nothing like fighter sword cold stare.
Well, he's at full magic, he's gonna use bombos for the first phase. He did buy a blue potion, so definitely prepared for this. And Kohrek gets the god pixel in the hellway.
I have tried that many times and failed everyone.
Unfortunately, dustsen did not get the spin right. And during explosions, you can't open up the menu to drink that potion.
I didn't see if Kohrek checked the hint.
He did. It told him to go to the next room.
Alright.
So he went back one room.
And looks like we had a crystal in Ice Palace.
And crystal number 2, dungeon number 3 for dustsen, and red mail in Thieves Town.
Definitely won't complain. It'd be interesting to find out if that Ice Palace big chest holding on to something this time.
That could be devastating for dustsen.
So we'll see when Kohrek heads his way toward Ice Palace.
At this point, Kohrk's sitting at 13 hearts red mail. It's not gonna have any problems.
No, the safety is definitely there.
Oh, dustsen is going into desert to get the 2 items.
Maybe he's thinking it's just one of those like nagging one-off locations that's a quick check that can come back to burn you.
It's indeed true.
I'd have to imagine Pod is pretty much next on his mind.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if he continues to delay pod at this point. Well, here's the Thieves Town big chests. The cane is not there.
One more hammerlocked location off the board.
Well, we are looking for the cane and keys and a sword.
There's one bit of logic we can surmise that it will not be on left side of GT because Turtle Rock is a crystal.
Indeed.
So it isn't leaving us with a lot of hammerlocked locations left.
Dustsen is picking up the flute. We'll see where he's going next.
And a quick and easy blind fight from Kohrek. Some blueberries and a crystal.
And we are gonna see Meyer here from Dustsen.
Interesting gamble. Did he see the hammerlock hint?
Which hammerlock hint?
That the cane is behind the hammer?
Yeah, he was the one who saw it because it was in ice.
Makes this play even more interesting to me.
And if something is in checkerboard, you know the mirrors in the pod, it's gonna have to make another trip over here.
Interesting to head in here when you know that the cane's not going to be here.
Yeah, it does feel very bizarre. Maybe Speed is search for the bow and doesn't want to go into pod without it.
Only that we know it's the very first chest in pod.
Yeah, it's one of those seeds.
Okay, so there are many worse feelings than last locationing the vanilla location of something. Or at least French vanilla.
Do you have the map for pod?
And another TR small key.
And Kohrek will now make the trip into ice.
You'll be very happy he went there. He went to pod first, I would imagine.
Yeah, at this point, Kohrek needs to get this big key for pod in ice.
Very interesting to see what would come out of the big chest in Ice Palace here. Is that's the one location Dustin didn't get to check.
And that's an extremely important location at this point. Dustsen continues through Meyer, and potion is fine.
Really nice executed bomb strats by Kohrek against those pen gators.
He has most certainly practiced that a lot, because I've not seen that setup before, and that was fantastic. Dustsen's just gonna take some time to wait and check the hint, and then take the fall.
Well, thanks for that. We know.
Yeah, they both have that key.
And the map of Eastern.
Well, we already know Eastern is one of the 5-6 crystals. Where is that cane?
Guess if I had to guess of like hammerlock locations I can think of right now, looking like maybe Spike Cave if we find the cape or cane somewhere.
Yeah. Also, I've been thinking, because of how this is set up, No, wait. Never mind. That point doesn't matter.
Hear me out on this one. What if our Ice Palace big chest is the blue cane, which leads to the hammer or the Cane of Samaria in Spike Cave?
What a lovely seed. Well, there was nothing in Meyer for Dustsen.
He's gonna get trolled by the cabbages as he goes to try to flute on Death Mountain. Thinking.
Yeah, Dustsen is having a bit of a think here. And Pod it is. This is the right call. We're just in the Ice Palace big chest waiting room at this point.
And chat brings up a good point. Another location that the King of Samaria could be is on King Helmasaur.
Yeah, that is another one.
And Kohrek finds his swag net.
Still has a few more places to check here in Ice. So Dustsen is gonna get the mirror, gonna get the bow, gonna get the powder, big keys.
Pod was definitely loaded this seed.
It hasn't really given anything after that.
Well, we'll find out now as we're going to head toward that big chest in Ice Palace.
I mean, Swamp is a play at this point.
And that's a big bullet dodge for Dustin there.
Yeah, that's a low priority location for him to check.
And as Michelangelo becomes late. Messed up my turtles.
I don't know any of them. I don't know my turtle lore.
All you need to know is that Donatello is broken.
So, what does that mean? He's not a real turtle?
If you played the original NES game, he was just the character that was much superior to the rest.
I never played NES in the first place. I grew up later than that.
Well, there is still time.
Yeah, you know, you gotta find that time as well in your life. But we have more important businesses to do. Why play games when we can commentate it?
I have to say, it's just as much fun. And we have Kohrek go ahead and have his fun with Cold Stare.
And he has the exact same equipment. Does get the spin.
Is out of magic promptly, goes for those hammer strats.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain the regular Fighter Sword doesn't actually damage Cold Stare, so you must do spins.
Could definitely see that. A pretty clean fight from Kohrek.
That was very well executed, as Dustsen is gonna find his mirror.
There's his Ice Palace Big Key. Hope he does not decide to think he has to go back into that.
So, Kohrek, where are you headed right now? Is that at a swamp?
Seems like the right logical play. It's clearable.
He can check Bombo's tablet before going there, just to see if there is something there. But he does have that hint about King of Samaria. K45.
Yeah, quick, easy, one-off location you could easily forget.
And a nice bomb jump from Dustsen.
And South of Grove holds for us today a key. Which one is it?
It's a key for Meyer.
Anticlimactic.
Where is that Tower of Hera big key?
Amusing to find it in vanilla, or a French vanilla location. Looks like we are going to see the Swamp Palace play from Kohrek.
And they should be able to full clear this.
So here's the thing we look at next. Which Hammerlock location remaining will that King show up in? Will it be somewhere in Swamp Palace, or will it be on King Helmstor on Dustsen's side?
Or is it that cape that will lead into Spike Cave? Or Berna? And this is our final pendant.
Some arrows require the hammer.
Yay.
Interesting that we are an hour and 11 minutes in when we still only found one of our 4 swords.
Yeah, and that was on Uncle, because it was guaranteed to be there.
Another heart for Kohrek. He's more than equipped to handle most things.
It's just that sword question at this point.
And we have an ether usage against the Turtle Room for Dustin.
That just doesn't want to deal with that.
Cannot blame him for a second. Probably my least favorite kill room in the game.
Well, Dustin is gonna have his sweet time here with Helmstor King, 17 hits with the hammer.
And doesn't have a better sword than Fighter to really extend his hammer range, thanks to our very good friend, the Hammer Hitbox.
Yeah, but Dustin is playing this well. And one shot with the silver arrows, if Helmstor can stand still.
And he's down. What will the king have for us today?
Is it the cane? Or is it the 20 rupee?
It's a compass.
Well, that's hot garbage.
And there's our cane! Buck got its cane.
It's the cane.
And 10 arrows.
So now we're just in key hunting mode here. And sword hunting mode.
Somewhere out there, we've got to find at least one more sword so we can get into Aga and damage Ganon.
And we still need that big key for Eastern. We need a big key for Tower of Hera. A big key for Meyer. A small key for Castle Tower. And how many small keys do you need for Turtle Rock again?
We may have them.
Only need 3?
I'm not sure. Looks like we would need one more, potentially.
Yeah, I do think there is one more.
Where it truly shows that I have not played any Key Sanity.
Well, Key Sanity is weird. Dustin is back into Thieves Town.
Chat brings up a point. You only need 3 keys to kill Trinax. You need a 4th key if you want to check the lava chest.
So there's gonna be a sword in that chest then.
Absolutely.
Yoy. Still have to check a lot of locations here since they are lacking in the big key department.
It looks like he's gonna... Yep.
Yeah, that's why Kohrek is over here on the left side.
Dustin making the rest of Thieves Town play. Still, we'll see one more hammer-locked location before he heads to the hammer location that the cane is hiding. But still a dungeon he needs to clear, as this is all dungeons.
Indeed, that is true. And will we see Kohrek, when he's done with Swamp and Mire, blindfold the pedestal?
I'm definitely hyped for it.
Oh, the glorious arrows. Still need to find that big key for Mire.
Curious to see what these last few chests in Swamp Palace do hold for us.
I mean, Kohrek is just hoping to find the keys and the sword at this point.
But instead is rewarded with a map and a heart. Does get him the refill though.
There's a map that did literally nothing.
More maps.
So
Dustin,
if you want,
right? Be about disappointed. Continue.
if you want the real mean thing here, you want the Tower of Hera big key to be behind Pyramid Fairy.
And then Tower of Hera holding on to some fetch quest items to get us more keys.
Yeah, the Tower of Hera has the Eastern Palace big key, or the shovel that gives the Eastern Palace big key. They're still on Fighter Sword, and Fighter Sword Argus. A bit of a different fight from how you normally do it.
Definitely harder to get the doubles on that. You have to make sure you hit it with both parts of the spin in order to kill it. And there's an easy blind fight from Dustin.
Yeah, picks up another crystal with that. Of course, gonna try and set up the single arrow here.
And no problems for Kohrek. And what do we have? 10 arrows. Will we see a blind pull from Kohrek is the operative question.
Yeah, when he gets that Mire big key, but where is he going next? I mean, they've had so much stuff pointing towards Turtle Rock the Seed, but where's he going? Bumble's Tablet?
I would have to think that would be a good play if you're right, since you're right there.
Just go ahead and check it, and then flute away.
Dustin taking the purple chest into one of the few caves it will follow into. Just a little love.
Well, disregarding that then.
And Dustin getting his curse of big love.
Ooh, are we finally seeing checkerboard?
Seems like the play he's making here.
But will he go into Mire after this, or is he just gonna flute away again?
We know that would be the right play, but we will see. And there's where I think it's a better boomerang.
What? I thought it was just like some weirdly recolored 20 rupee. Reshaped, I should say.
That was definitely a crutch when I was a kid. It looks like Kohrek is going to make the dive into Mire, only to find disappointment.
Yeah, fortunately there's nothing for him inside. Dustsen here with the purple chest. Which didn't have anything as far as I recall.
No, well, it was a Mire key, which, as he's already cleared most of Mire, definitely not useful for him.
Indeed.
And while we are doing some recursive checks, please don't be afraid to give these runners a follow. They're putting themselves out there for you. The least you can do is show them some support.
That is absolutely the case. All of our 96 players currently in this tournament. They're just fighting for glory, honor, and, you know, entertainment, and hopefully the seeds not being absolute meanies to them.
Well, there's still a lot of deeply hidden keys that we need to find.
Yeah, the seed is far from over.
Still missing one of our ice rods in that second castle tower key. And a sword to access it!
Or the cave that leads to swords being there. Like, how do they not have AGA 1 access at this point? Or just access to the tower?
Now we're 20 minutes in and those swords are deep hidden. The only one we found is the one we were guaranteed to find. And Dustin looks like to be heading toward the swamp play. Check the hint tile.
Yeah, but he has to drain the swamp.
Interesting choice.
He was just hoping that it would give him a hint to go somewhere else, so he wouldn't have to make this play.
So it looks like definitely what we are looking for here is a Turtle Rock play.
Yeah, there's something that's been hiding out in Tower of Hera all this time.
If I had to make a wager, I would probably go for the Turtle Rock play first, as I can complete it, as Kohrek finds the Arrow of Destiny.
Yeah, would definitely prefer a Turtle Rock play at this point.
A lot more items, and we already know that the basement of Hera is nothing.
Yeah, that was a map.
Unless you really, really, really like collecting maps.
And we leave that duty to Blind.
But he was the collector of compasses.
Yeah, but you need the maps as well, so you can use the compasses.
Suppose you're right.
Kohrek, this looks like it's gonna be that Turtle Rock that I think we've been talking about for like an hour ever since we got those two rods in Escape.
Interesting to see how far we've come since then. To still only have the rods, the rest of the access, but only the fighter sword.
Well, he's also gonna be able to check the Ether Tablet and make this quick dip into Tower of Hera just to get 2 items. There's also Spy Cave, you know.
We still don't have any invulnerability items to put that into logic.
Yeah, but 16 hearts with potion, and that's the other boomerang.
It's a well-written hint for it. No matter what you do, blue always returns to you.
But this seed, no boomerang will be collected.
Unfortunate for the lovers of the boomerang like myself.
Well, this key has been hiding in Tower of Hera all this time, and it's not a useful key.
Or it could be a useful key, depending on where things are hidden.
You want the big key for Myra to be in Ganon's tower? Oh, I said that earlier, didn't I?
Perhaps. Well,
I did.
But that was a tower. That's a Tower of Hera small key in there, in the Pyramid Fairy.
Okay.
There's a small key in the Cane of Burna. However, follow this. The Cane of Burna has unlocked Spike Cave, which has one of the keys we need.
Well, I almost witched that.
Well, Kohrek looks to be using his large amount of hearts and potion to go check this and see how troll the logic is.
Yeah, this is a big sequence break here, possibly depending on the cape location.
Or Cane of Burn.
Well, if that
And
was
all
a
the hype dies.
that was a sequence break. That was really worth the investment.
A
So,
penny
Kohrek,
for your thoughts?
how about go somewhere else? So, Kohrek, where are you going now?
Hoping he's going back to Turtle Rock. Oh,
No,
finish pod?
Well, he's really putting this duck to good use, getting lots of practice. It may be another situation of just overthinking things. This is key sanity after all.
Well, to answer some of the questions in chat as far as logic of the Spike Cave, you need the hammer, of course, and then an invincibility item in either a bottle or half magic. Because it expects you to be able to do that with 3 hearts.
And that is because there have been seeds long time ago where players literally couldn't continue because there was an item in Spike Cave and there was just no way to get the item. That's why the logic is the way it is. And it's time for Turtle Rock.
Indeed.
Dustsen is approaching Argus.
We have to imagine we have to find some kind of progression hidden. Skullwood's big key is in Tower of Hera.
That's a location. You know, that could also be something really dumb.
Or the big chest could be holding on to something else we desperately need, like the second... There's our Eastern Palace big key.
Well, Eastern is now clearable. And Turtle Rock is clearable, so Cane of Burna is in logic, so you can get that single green rupee.
Dustin putting some thought into how he wants to tackle Argus, and it looks like we are going to get the slideshow fight.
Menu strats.
I often thought that the menu was one of the toughest bosses of this game.
It can be a cruel mistress. Well, Kohrek's not finding anything so far, apart from the big key to Eastern, of course.
Does at least open another dungeon off the checklist, and puts the Pyramid Theory in logic to get that cane and that map that's buried in the Tower of Hera.
Well, do you recall if we've seen all 3 shields?
I only remember seeing the Fisher-Price shield in Cave 45.
Because since Laser Bridge has certain requirements to it.
You're right, we don't technically have access to Laser Bridge, as Kohrek gets seriously bullied by those chain chomps. And Dustin pulling off a really nice menu fight for Argus.
Indeed, and that's another dungeon down for him. So Laser Bridge requires you to have either all 3 shields, Burna, or the cape. And there are 4 items there.
This could logically have been a double dip required. come back and to get the item off Laser Bridge, depending on what it is.
Potentially. We do know that Mimic Cave is dead, though, so no worries about that. We'll see if they remember that.
Though I'd imagine all of our runners are more than adept at laser skips.
At this level of play, yes, indeed.
And we did miss somewhere along the line that we did find that last key for this, so we are able to full clear. It looks like Dustin is going to be heading in to join us in Turtle Rock.
He's gonna get his eastern key from this.
We'll see what else comes our way.
They're just waiting for keys at this point.
It is the name of the game, after all.
Key sanity.
And that last key was in Misery Mire Bridge, so thank you to our tracker.
Yeah, absolutely. Shoutouts to our tracker, P-Links. Fantastic job today.
I couldn't imagine trying to keep track of all these keys that are happening on 2 different screens at the same time.
There's another small key for Pod. What are all locations in Pod checked again?
I believe that dungeon has been fully cleared.
Even the vanilla big key location?
Not sure. Chat may have to help us out on that one.
Well, regardless, that still must be a low priority location. At this point, it's mostly just low priority locations left.
Kohrek going for that quick refill.
As Dustsen has entered Turtle Rock. I mean, this is an extremely close race at this point.
Oh, absolutely. We're merely a couple rooms apart. Now to see if that Pyramid Fairy leads to something. Small key for Ice Palace.
It doesn't do anything.
That's the Tower of Hera, big key.
That's needed. And that will give the big key to Skull Woods.
Kohrek having more than enough time with that hard hat beetle.
But where's the cape? Where's the third shield? And where are the swords?
And there's their last pod key, so that would put that last chest that we did not check in logic. And that's also, I think this kind of leans toward a Pyramid Fairy required that we've broken sequence on. If we use that Cane of Burna to the Laser Bridge.
Yeah, I think that... No. Wait, you have to beat Turtle Rock to get the big bomb to get back into Turtle Rock.
That is something the logic could do to us. It's happened to me before. I've had to make triple trips.
Well, that's something. Still need to find that cape. Or third shield to really figure everything out. Or we may just end up sitting here and waiting for the swords instead. One more shot.
Probably won't get to see those nice clean spins as we're still on Fighter Sword an hour and a half into the seed.
I mean, I have seen Master Sword Go mode before, but it's getting really tricky at this point. I mean, I've seen Aga 1 in a regular race done with Fighter Sword, and then the Master Sword was found after that. But this is just extremely late with Fighter Sword.
Definitely put our runner's execution to the test. Playing with our very interesting hammer hitbox.
And Kohrek almost certainly at this point going into Tower of Hera.
Definitely pointing that way. Well,
it's not.
Go on.
And Dustsen is not too far behind, and remember, he already has Helmasaur King down, so he doesn't have to go back into pod.
Yep, at least so with those finds, we've opened up Eastern Palace, and we've opened up Tower of Hera for completion.
At this point, we're looking for a Castle Tower small key, the Mystery Mire big key, and a sword. But we have no idea where they are.
Part of me is kind of hoping for that Mystery Mire big key to be hidden somewhere in Ganon's tower.
I mean, I assume that there's gonna be a sword in Ganon's tower.
There almost has to be at this point.
Just don't be in tile room.
Well, there's 10 sticks. Heart container requires a bomb, and I think the requires a bomb hint is one of the least helpful. And there's the big key for Skull Woods that we knew was going to be there.
We know basement has nothing. So, Moldorm, what do you have for us today?
Pain, usually.
A fall here. Yeah, Dustsen taking an unfortunate fall here as he is attempting laser skip. Moldorm, my good old friend, how are you doing today?
Wiggly.
Tough.
I appreciate it.
Goodbye,
Alright.
Moldorm.
I hardly knew ye. And now I kinda wish we hadn't.
And that was a very quick Tower of Hera. And with Kohrek having the big key, I think he's just gonna go and do Eastern and Pod back to back now.
This is looking more and more like we have something hidden in Ganon's tower.
Well, all of the 3 items that we are missing could all be in Ganon's tower. And Dustsen is now on the Trinex fight.
Unfortunately, for those of you wishing, Pedestal we know is dead, though Kohrek does not.
And he might decide to pull it if he's gonna go for that Skullwoods big key location. But I just think he's gonna go into Ganon's tower after Eastern Pod.
Definitely the most item-dense play to make. Though, the way this seed has been kind of kind, I'd imagine there's some unkindness hidden somewhere.
I mean, I consider the bow in Pod to be pretty unkind.
True, but I think we can get worse.
I mean, this is a Link to the Past Randomizer, and Dustsen here with Hammer Strats.
Alright, and a quick and easy Trinex kill from Dustsen.
He will almost certainly also make the trip over to Tower of Hera at this point.
Definitely the play to make. Unless he wants to take his Eastern key and kind of route Tower Hera into Ganon's tower.
That's a possibility.
It looks like that may be the way he's heading.
That's a very interesting choice.
He's definitely thinking there's something hidden in Ganon's tower, so that's the quickest play to make.
He's also going back into Pod to check the locations there.
Well, there is that one the vanilla big key I don't think we've checked.
Yeah, that's the one. And it's a really interesting choice considering Ganon's tower is right around the corner.
It also seems like Kohrek has skipped a few chests in Pod as well.
Yeah, Kohrek seems to be going all in on the Ganon's Tower at this point.
Well, we'll see from Dustsen if that's the right play to make, because this could swing the race back the other way.
This is Kohrek's choice of mode as well, so he may just have a different read on the situation, perhaps a bit more used to playing Key Sanity. That was a very quick fight for him.
Well, Star King doesn't offer much of a challenge when you've got silver arrows to put him down in one hit. And that is a bee. Not the bees!
I mean, that's really not the bees situation there.
His eyes, oh no.
That bee is just laughing at us, and at this point.
Alright, we'll head in and finish Eastern Palace.
Kohrek is going back in and is going to get his bee. He has 2 chests remaining, actually.
I get which the chat was saying he did walk past another location.
Harmless Hellway? Is he just leaving now? Nope. Apparently he's not as all in on the Ganon's Tower as I thought he was.
Chat's saying he may not have checked the big chest.
Yeah, that's impossible for him since the big key was in ice.
True.
I thought we had all maps.
Nope.
Nope, apparently not.
Setting up the hammer yump. Just to get a shield.
Yeah, there was one of the shields. Now Kohrek is going into Eastern.
Seems like the logical progression, so we should be seeing Ganon's Tower coming up shortly. Unfortunately, we will not be able to play the key guessing game, as we already have the big key and its key sanity, but if you have some predictions as to what might be hiding in Ganon's Tower, feel free to throw them in chat, and I'll give you my love.
Well, we are looking for that Castle Tower small key, Mystery Mire big key, and a sword. Minimum 1 sword, preferably more. Maybe Armos has something. Yeah, just burn me already. Please, just burn me.
I'm starting to get in.
Well, that's one of the 3 items down. So Dustsen still delaying Tower of Hera, or is he's gonna go now?
Yeah, he's gonna go Tower of Hera into Ganon's Tower.
And we do know that there is nothing in Tower of Hera apart from that Skullwood's big key. Don't know where that leads.
I liking some of the situations brought up in chat. The Armos, the second set of Armos Knights has the 3rd and 4th swords.
And we still have Shovel and Mushroom left. The Joy. Kohrek is gonna take down Armos, now we get the Master Sword. Dustsen is gonna get the Boomerang actually, so we'll see a Boomerang this seed.
Hooray for boomerangs!
We'll see if it will be used for some switch strats in Ganon's Tower. Kohrek now has everything he needs for Ganon's Tower.
Alright, well, it's interesting to see how, as far as how close this race has stayed pretty much the entire time.
Yeah, despite some interesting variations earlier. with
And,
the
course.
pod, the ice place. Yeah, and Dead Rock, Skull Dead Rock.
Really, our main pivot point, which caused the diversion, was either to choose the choice between doing Ice Palace or Pod first.
And Kohrek went pod, and dustsen went ice. And despite the fact that pod had basically all the goodies, the pod big key was in ice.
Definitely had to visit both.
By logic, you did have to double dip both pod and ice, but because of sequence breaks, you could just clear ice with one go.
Not to mention our dip of Turtle Rock, which we got to sequence break around by skipping some lasers.
Yeah, that was a weird situation.
Of course, we do still have that big key of Skull Woods location floating in the back of our minds.
Yeah, what else do we have despite that?
Whole lot of Ganon's Tower.
Well, they can check 2 chests in Castle Tower now, but they're gonna do that after they're done with Ganon's Tower.
Well, going in, we are still looking for a Misery Mire big key, and the small key for the Castle Tower, as well as preferably another sword.
Yeah, everything else has been acquired at this point.
The difference between Tempered and Master is astronomical.
It is very significant indeed.
More compasses. Will we see a tile room check?
Nah, I think that's gonna be delayed until later. Maybe dustsen will? If you do tile room here, you have to think that you're behind. That's just my take on it. Let's see our right side here.
And we found our third shield of the game.
So that almost certainly means... Oh, no, not the shovel. That almost certainly means that they did in fact sequence break the laser bridge.
Oh, the shovel. Not like this.
Now calm down. That shovel may not be required. Of course, there's a lot of people who would want it to be required. Some fire arrows on the torch.
So Bob lives on.
Unfortunately. So, well, doesn't go right or left here.
And another fetch quest.
Why do you do this to us? I mean, that's the only valuable things they found in here. 2 fetch quests. Yay. Thankfully, they have the flute, so they can easily check the mushroom and buy potions after that if they feel like they have to.
You have to think with runners of this caliber and the sheer amount of hearts they have, pretty a low priority.
It's just a matter of do you check shovel or mushroom first? Well, maybe neither will be needed.
Who knows?
Yeah, there's still a lot of locations here left to check.
That's one of the few times we may actually get to see the big key of the big chest in Ganon's Tower.
Yeah, there is actually a big chest in Ganon's Tower. Did you know that?
In vanilla, I believe that's the red mail.
I believe so as well. Now the runner room...
Ice Palace key.
That's small. Yeah, just not finding anything at this point. Also, where's Quake? Just because I can ask that question.
That's buried with a shovel.
Yes, of course. Quake underneath the ground. That makes sense.
Didn't quite get the skip, but saves a few frames.
Yeah, it can be a bit tricky to get that.
No, that, but there's a. It looks like he knew there was an arrow drop hidden in there.
It's time for that extremely exceptionally high 20 rupees.
Big chest, little payout.
Yeah, that's kind of the name of this Ganon's Tower at this point. They've checked 18 locations since they didn't get the torch item, and all they found are 2 fetches. Imagine Ganon's Tower being a complete bust. I mean, it really can't be. There has to be something here.
There would have to be something. One of these big keys.
Yeah, otherwise it's in Castle Tower and the Skullwood's big chest at this point if there's nothing here, because they're looking for 2 items.
I mean, the Castle Tower small key and the big key for Misery Mire.
No, that's a Ganon's Tower small key in Ganon's Tower, and there's half magic, so we're climbing the gauntlet.
Well, we still have tile room.
Oh, man.
One of these runners checks tile room and the other one doesn't, and it has progression.
And if this has nothing, that is dustsen catching up here to Kohrek. And there is no cape, so you can't just pull the wall.
No nap time here, unfortunately. Going for some hookshot strats on these tiles. Gotta be careful the animation doesn't lock you to get picked up by our friend the Wallmaster.
Dustsen gets the skip on the teleportation tiles. And the moment of truth after the hand is gone. And it's the big key for Mire!
Oh no! Please let Dustin check this.
The big key for Mire in tile room. Tile room is required. We're still looking for that Castle Tower small key. This is still not go mode.
Still not go mode, and there's still a lot of potential not so good things.
There are 4 more locations up here in Ganon's Tower. There's 2 locations now open in Misery Mire, and then there are 2 in Castle Tower as well. That's all that's left. And of course, Skullwoods, if you really want the Skullwoods or the fetches, you know.
Yep.
But why would you want that? I can't imagine why you would want that. Dustsen is skipping!
Oh no, 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 no! Oh no.
And that may just as well be the
I think that
deciding
seals the
decision.
raid. Unless he decides to maybe check it after finishing Ganon's Tower. Or after finishing Aga.
Oh, but that's such a long way to walk.
Or if in that location, it's just...
It's almost certainly it's going to be a victory here for Kohrek. But it's not over until it's over.
It's not over until the big pig blows up.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
And we get across the bridge. Can't forget that.
Yeah, you don't really want to fall down there.
And Kohrek with a very clean 3 silvers in the landmo.
Yeah, that's how you do silver landmolus.
Oh, and thinking about the items we picked up in GT, I bet you Dustin would also look at those fetch quest items for that big key.
Fetch quests and that lovely Skullwood's big chest.
Oh. So we are still looking for that castle tower big key, but we have to imagine it's either buried up in the last location of Meyer or here or in that first chest of castle tower.
Yeah, there's not that many spots where it can be, but everything's gonna flow pretty well here for Kohrek.
It's definitely looking like we're getting there.
We got the chest up here. If the small key isn't there, can you just go straight into Aga 1, just check the 2 locations and hope that it's there, and if not, just go Meyer. And then there's not that many places left to check.
I'd imagine they're going to do Misery Meyer before they do Aga 1, just because you can leave straight from Aga 1 and drop into Ganon.
Yeah, that's another take. Of course, you can just mirror after Ganon's tower and go to Aga 1, so there's a lot of potential. It will be interesting to see how they route this. Well, there's the cave. So Laser Bridge is a guaranteed skip. They skipped the Pyramid Fairy. Verna was required for Laser Bridge.
Absolutely.
And where are those swords?
Interesting that we have not yet found them. Where, like, honestly, where is left for these other 2 swords to be?
They're...
I suppose there's right here.
Yeah, this one very chest here. Nope, that's just a small key to the castle tower. That's go mode!
And at 1 hour, 56 minutes, and 13 seconds, Kohrek has entered go mode. All they have to do is clear Misery Meyer, Aga 1, and take down the Big Pig.
I really can't see dustsen making a comeback at this point.
I think this pretty much seals the deal.
I mean, Mask of Sword Ganon is not the easiest fight, but Kohrek is talented enough. He's not gonna struggle with that.
No.
And especially not if there's a sword along the way in Meyer or Castle Tower. So will Kohrek do Aga 1 immediately after Aga 2, or is he gonna do Meyer?
Both are perfectly valid routes.
Yeah, I have no idea which one is faster.
That's a big metagame thing that I'm just not going to commit the time to finding out. Dustin just barely missing the timing on that.
Kohrek mirrors and goes Aga 1.
Should be a quick and easy castle tower, hopefully, for you find a sword hanging out in here. Just to make Ganon a little bit faster.
If you only have something more than Master Sword. Those guards are exceptionally obnoxious.
I have to say, probably the least favorite low light world enemy I can think of, aside from, you know, the Dead Rocks.
Yeah, guards is just auto homie not to.
And Dustin with a really great triple there on Aga.
Oh, we found the Quake!
The bacon coin!
The Quake was available all this time and never needed. I mean, that could easily have been something worse if the Quake was required in the seed.
Absolutely.
Well, we have 2 locations in Meyer. We have the 2 fetches. And those 4 locations are all that's left, so the 2 swords must be there.
I honestly doubt that Kohrek will commit any time to the fetch quest looking for swords.
Dustsen, unfortunately, will have to do so.
It's an interesting that one decision ends up deciding this race. Really unfortunate for Dustin, because this has been hard fought and really tough to get these last few locations found.
And it was so close at the end as well. Okay, the Skullwood's big chest. Always forget that. Also, Green Pennant from Sahasrara. We basically never talked about that because Green Pen is Meyer the seed. We're never gonna figure out what Sahaswala is holding.
It is highly unlikely, as Dustin heads into Agawon and is going to be really disappointed when he does not find the big key he's looking for. And he left in everyone's least favorite tile room.
I mean, that's a calculated risk that you have to take. If it's not there, it's a minute down.
And if it is there, it's over.
Yeah,
and you have to imagine sitting in the shoes, not seeing a dot done yet in IRC, thinking, okay, we have to be just neck and neck.
Yeah, and then you have to take such a risk and hope that you get ahead.
And I have to imagine if you're Dustin, you kind of felt behind from the start with the Ice Palace choice instead of Pod choice.
I'm getting some blue balls in here.
Just to delay it even more and make Dustin feel more and more like he's made the right play. Definite feels bad moment.
A unique item requires a bomb.
And since he's still looking for that Meyer big key, he did check that hint. And Agawon is down for Kohrek. He will get his way over to Misery Meyer.
And not much left for him to do there.
Now that I think about it, I do think this is the better play, because he can now just save and quit from Misery Meyer and end up at Ganon.
Yeah, you save and quit. Yeah, you just do Meyer, you save and quit, and then you're right there. You don't really care about having full hearts, because you have red mail and enough already.
Main thing going is make sure you have that magic refill.
Well, we get the full refill from killing the boss, so...
Absolutely.
So we're back in Meyer again. And we won't find out what's in the big chest.
Fortunately not. I mean, I have to imagine that's probably holding one of our swords.
Yeah, those swords, man. Those swords.
Interesting to be 2 hours in and only finding the Master Sword.
I mean, maybe Kohrek should just have picked Swordless for this one instead of Uncle Assured. So the only thing that hasn't been checked are these two locations in Meyer, Green Pen and Sahaswala, and Skullwood's big chest, and the shovel mushroom fetches. And there are still 2 swords left.
And remember, you can stand on the bottom wall and throw at that location.
Of course, we haven't seen the Pyramid Fairy, but we do know that it's just the Tower of Era Small Key, which leads to a map, and Cane of Berna.
Which, the Cane of Berna did lead us to an important item on Laser Bridge, but these runners definitely do not need to do that. So one of the part of hints coming in clutch is we see Kohrek demonstrating the spooky action glitch, which I have no idea how it works.
Yeah, I can't explain it either.
And as he does it again. Something to do with elevations and splash damage from the fire rod. That's about all I can tell you.
Definitely a form of unintentional design that took this long to figure out.
It's actually a very recent find from what I remember, as Kohrek makes quick work of Vitreous.
Yeah, indeed, it was discovered back in the spring tournament this year.
And there it is, the Temperate Sword.
Good, and possibly I found a better item there. And Mushroom was just 50 rupees.
Oof, now we go for the dig spot. It's just a definite feels bad for Dust.
Unfortunately, that is the harsh reality of A Link to the Past Randomizer.
Sometimes you make gambles that definitely do not pay off. That's an interesting line from Ganon. Not one I've seen.
10 arrows from the shovel.
Oof. Now he's gonna go dive. He's gonna go back toward Meyer. I don't. Has he actually been in here yet?
Checkerboard.
Checkerboard.
Meanwhile, Kohrek is soon on phase 4 here on Ganon.
Whenever he decides to stop teleporting.
Yeah, Ganon needs to have his little dance party. Dustsen will soon realize where the big key is located.
Oh, he's heading down
Ice.
the Ice Palace big key, or big chest.
But that's a great setup there from Kohrek. He can get a triple here. Oh, he just barely didn't get it. But he'll get it anyway.
And that's the end of that. All he has to do is cross the bridge.
And ladies and gentlemen, Kohrek is going to win this race, go up 5-0, still undefeated in his group. GG, well played.
And he will finish with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 6 minutes, 17 seconds. It has also been... Dustsen has also chosen to forfeit from the race.
Which is fully understandable from his position.
Definitely cannot blame them for a minute. And it looks like we do have Kohrek waiting to get pulled in here. So we'll go ahead and bring him in. Welcome, Kohrek, and GG.
GG, thank you.
This is definitely a race that came down to, did you check Tile Room?
Yeah, and so in our little group of rando friends here, we have a running joke that we can't skip anything because we skip one single thing and it's go mode for everybody else. And I was starting to get a little bit mad because I did every long check in the game and I sequenced stuff, so I wasn't skipping chests. I got the TR small key before I went to TR, and that lava room had nothing. I got the Ice Palace big key before I went to Ice Palace. That had nothing. Catfish, Graveyard Ledge, all these long checks had nothing. And then I was so ready to give up. And then Tile Room, I'm like, nope, I got to do it. And it had that big key. So that finally felt good.
No, absolutely. It was a really close race for pretty much all of it. That it kind of wavered at the point where, did you dip ice or pod first? Chose to go for ice. You went for pod. He started to gain ground, and then it all came down to just that one decision. So do you have any other thoughts aside from that point about the seed?
It really, being on Fighter Sword for so long was kind of annoying, but for the most part, the seed did let you sequence things well. I just kind of wish that there were more value in the out-of-the-way locations. I think it would have kept my mental state a little bit better throughout the seed, but it was a decent seed for all dungeons key sanity. Pretty fun at the end.
Could definitely see that it would definitely be playing on my nerves, just seeing how long we're just finding nothing, and just staring at the did I miss that location that had everything? So I think we're gonna go ahead and pull Dustsen in here and see what he has to think about this seed. Dustsen, thank you. GG to you.
Thank you.
gotta be a tough, just that. So I guess, how do you feel after the end of that?
Yeah, I talked a little bit to Kohrek, and I heard where the big key was. So yeah, I don't like key sanity for that particular reason. So.
No, I can definitely understand not liking key sanity. I'm sitting here watching this like there's no way I could keep track of all of this. Though I will admit, it was a very close race up and until that point. What were you thinking before you headed into Ganon's Tower?
I actually thought that we get some item to get the big key. So that's what sorry. That's my that was my thinking of, yeah, like it can't be that trolly. So but in the end it was.
Fortunately, sometimes and it gives key sanity gives and key sanity takes. So how are you feeling about your group stage so far, Dustsen?
Not particularly well. I'm 0-3 now. Yeah.
Well, you still have 4/5 of your races to complete, so there's still a lot of time to make up that lost ground. Kohrek, you're in first place. How do you feel about your chances are going forward?
I'm very happy to be where I am at 5-0, but I still have a lot of very tough races ahead of me. I don't have any done yet against Lunchtime, who is the second seeding grouping in this group, and I only have one each against Dustsen and Weighty Words, who are third and fourth. So I'm very happy with where I am, but at the same time, there's a long way to go. So really strong group. So I'm very happy to be where I am right now.
It's awesome. So Dustsen, what's next in your race schedule?
Next one is about in an hour. Yeah, I think it's an hour.
All right, so I should not hold.
We have an all dungeon open, so
should be a little bit kinder to you. We
yeah,
hope.
I hope so. I hope so. This killed my mood, basically.
All right, and then Kohrek, what's next on your docket?
Dustin and I play again tomorrow at the same time, and it's his choice. I believe it's open Randomizer, so it should be an interesting, a lot different, but fun.
I'm definitely a fan of Randomizer himself, so I'll give you both a final thought on the.
No more thoughts here. I just want to thank you for commentating and the tracking and the restream and all of that. And thanks everybody out there for watching. And thank you, Dustin. It was a good race. I'll look forward to tomorrow.
And Dustin, for you?
I can only agree with him. Thanks for the commentating and.
All right, and I'll let you guys get going since it sounds like you guys both got something coming up right away. I'd like to give a huge shout out to everyone watching and the speed game community. Don't be afraid to give their six speed gaming channels a follow. A huge thank to our runners once again. If you have not already done so, please give them a follow. Also, a huge track to our tracker B-Link. Go ahead and give them some love. Marjovic, I'll let you have last word.
Well, we obviously have more Link to the Past randomizers heading your way. Coming up soon enough at 11:30 a.m. over on Speed Gaming 2, we'll have Sonicam versus Someone 325. And later at 12:30 p.m. we'll have P-Train versus BBB Kermit on Speed Gaming 5. So we're just continuing with all of this over on the Speed Gaming 1 through 6 channels, and also, of course, the ALTTP Randomizer 1 through 5 channels, and the YouTube, which you can just find by searching Speed Gaming up there. So, with all that said and done, I've been Marjevich.
And I have been Punching the Tree. Thank you all so much. We'll hope to see you for some more rando. GG.